Yo, mic test, mic test, mic test, mic test. I should be good. I think all of my sounds are here. Yeah, I'm live. As a heads up, this is my first time. I guess doing a stream on YouTube. That's kind of podcast light. In a sense, I want to start doing live streams on here where we're just talking about basketball, but there's no actual game to watch. If you've been tapped in lately, I have been doing NBA streams because there used to be a platform called Playback. It's dead now. Probably not coming back. Rest in piss, probably, unfortunately. That died. So because of that, like, there's no way to watch NBA games live with people. So all the refugees from that basically have been trying to find out how to do content elsewhere. Some groups just quit out altogether. For me, it's just like I would say, reminder that time is fleeting and like you really got to do everything you can to maximize what you're trying to do. So for me personally, I'm going to try to be more consistent. But that starts with like having an idea of what I want to do and how I want to do it. And this series is going to be an attempt at figuring it out. These streams, which will be infrequent, I'm hoping to maybe do 2 a week. Don't hold me to that. Where like we basically just recap the NBA live, right? All of the current events from the week or the games that we just saw. I will be covering, and I don't want to make these too long. Like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours is probably a good barometer for how long these will be. But for today's stuff, let's get started from the beginning, man. Spurs expose OKC. Now let's first like break down what I mean when I say the Spurs have exposed OKC, right? OKC is a good team. I feel like if you were blind to that, if you thought that their run last year was fluky and like the cause, I'm not that guy. OKC's a great team. They were my preseason pick to win the title. I still feel like a team has to break the I would say back-to-back curse where a team has not won back-to-back since Golden State. But by the way, we have some news about my team as I'll be addressing it later. But I'll show you the box score real quick. So they lose this game right here. 130 to 110. Spurs having 3 elite downhill guards is hard to stop and still got the alien to deal with. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to absolutely get to that. I cannot show film, unfortunately, live because I flirted with that before and I have gotten copyright. So I'm going to leave film work to like actual videos, which will also be coming back to the channel because for some reason you can do it if it's recorded within moderation. Live is just a bit too much of a risk. But they lose this game 110 to 130. That's right. The Spurs blew them out. I'm curious, what was the last OKC blowout? I'm gonna Google this. Hang on. When was the last time OKC got blown out in a NBA game? I want to see what the AI tells me. So they can't tell me. AI there. Well, I'm gonna just ignore that then. That's fine. Anyway, the point is they get blown out here. I watched this game. And I'm going to be honest with you, all of the doubters of what Oklahoma City is, I think showed a ton in this game, right? Let's be clear, though. This team has only lost 4 games on the season. They are 26-4. For context, if I go to the standings here, they're still the best team in the entire NBA. The Pistons have only lost 2 more games, so they're also dominating basketball as well. But still, 4 losses is insane. They're most definitely on pace to be another all-time team. I'm pretty sure they have the highest net rating of any team that's ever played basketball right now. They're hooping. But the flaws with OKC, as it will always come down to more than not, is their offense. And this has been my argument, and I'll go back to full cam for this. This has been my argument for Shai's MVP case. Because what most people do is they will see the team. They will see how many times they have dominated teams and blown out teams, right? They'll take that context, and then they will flip that to OKC's a great team. Shai should not get MVP. This team will go so far without Shai, all this and all that. But in games like these, where you're playing good competition, it says a lot about who you are as a team. And for being honest, Shai, like a lot of the season, has backpacked this team offensively. Shai, I'll show you his box score real quick. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 36 minutes played, 33 points, 14 for 22 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. He was 4 or 5 for the free throw line, 8 assists, 2 turnovers. He was a minus 17, but again, most of this game he was hardcore backpacking, trying to carry the offensive load for OKC, which this is a game where, ironically, they shot 40% from 3, but they only shot 33s on the night, only made 12. And outside of that, I mean, look, Isaiah Hartenstein, 4 of 7. He had 8 points. That's okay. Chet Holmgren, only 10 shots, only made 3 of those 10 shots. He had 7 points in the game, right? Lou Dort was actually hitting threes in this game, 5 for 8. That's about as good of a night as you could ask for a Lou Dort. But when you zoom out from these players and look at everyone else, Jalen Williams, who, to be fair, is still recovering from his offseason surgery. 8 for 18 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3. He kind of struggled in this game, and most of his struggles came when Shai was not on the floor and he had to try to man the offense by himself. I also just think he was a bit too shot happy at times. But as we keep progressing down this list, Alex Caruso, 2 points. He's a player that's hard to judge because box score doesn't tell you everything with Alex, but again, offensively, that is probably the weaker parts of his game. Isaiah Joe, 2 for 3. Essentially, what happened in this game, which I think this speaks to the flaws to what can beat OKC, is OKC as a unit. They struggle when you have multiple ball handlers and guys that are consistently making decisions. But more importantly, Oklahoma City does what they do at an elite level. They make you turn the ball over, right? They make you make multiple decisions. They blitz your ball handler. They have phenomenal point of attack defensive players on you to make you make mistakes. And then what they do is they take that and they score all night long. Like they will punish you for the mistakes that you are making, right? Gifted, your takes are looking spooky regarding OKC. They are not a elite shooting team. I never said OKC was a elite shooting team. So I would like to know what specific takes are looking spooky. You pick OKC because they're a dominant defensive team. They have a lot of defensive pieces and they have a lot of depth. And more importantly, they are in a conference where realistically, there's not that many teams that can really take them in a matchup series, at least in my opinion. I think that was true last year. I still think that's largely true this season as well. But independent of that, the Spurs deserve credit, right? The Spurs are a team that have multiple ball handlers with Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and even Dylan Harper. They just have guys that can come in and make quick choices. But more importantly, the Spurs won the turnover battle in this game. If we go back to the box score here, OKC had 13 turnovers in this game. The Spurs only had 9. So they kept it limited with their problems and mistakes. But the thing about the Spurs that I have been trying to highlight for the entire season so far is they specifically get out in transition a ton. They had 19 points in fast break. 11 points scored off of turnovers. The reason why I like this so much for them is they are a team that will also try to punish you off of their defense, because the Spurs also have a good defense. I forget exactly where they rank on the season. I think it's fair to actually look into that real quick. Let me go to the NBA.com website real quick. I just want to see where they are. If you take care of the ball and have size at guard and center, well, yeah, that's fine to say, but not many teams have those things with good ball handlers and a consistently good offense. That's limited for like a lot of teams in the NBA. Hence, that's why they've only lost 4 times this year. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's many teams that can competitively match up with them having all those things in a full on 7-game series. But there's chinks in the armor. But let's pull up the defense real quick. Let me go to stats and we'll look at the team stats real quick. Traditional stats and then change it to advanced. Okay, defensive rating. OKC, by far and away the best defense in the NBA throughout these 30 games played, 104 defensive rating. The next team after them is the Detroit Pistons. My team, the Golden State Warriors, Raptors, Wolves, Spurs. The Spurs are a top 6 defense. And keep in mind, these defensive numbers for the Spurs, to me, are not doing them the greatest of justice, primarily because Wemby's missed a good chunk of the season. I'm pretty sure when he's actually on the floor, they have a even better defense. Portland can beat OKC, but their team and coach are too young. They have all the tools. They don't have all the tools. They don't. Portland is not a good offensive team. They don't consistently work to their advantages. And as good as Deni Avdija is in a half-court setting, I don't trust him to consistently take advantage against good POA. I think they have the projection pieces to get there. I think that's true. But if we speak about who can actually beat OKC in a series, everything matters. The age of your unit, how long you've been doing it, how consistent you are on a night-to-night basis during the regular season, and who can play at a high level in the playoffs. Portland is a good team on paper, but they're still a very young team that has not really had that, time and reputation to really get to that level. I think in the regular season, they can be a strong team to play OKC. They have beat them. They are a part of their 4 losses in the season, but in terms of like choosing a team to beat them, you're not choosing Portland to beat them in a full-on 7-game series. You're not. But that's the blueprint, right? Like size. The biggest thing that I have noticed in watching these games, the size is what can bother OKC. Primarily because if you have size, you can get on the glass more. You can bother them more defensively, right? Like there's different things you can do. If you can win the margin battle in terms of rebounding and you have a good enough half-court offense and you have multiple guys who can pass the ball and there is a type of motion to your offense, that is what gives OKC problems. And when you are beating them at their own game in terms of you're not turning the ball over as much as they are and you're actually forcing OKC to have more turnovers and you get out in transition, you match up with them better. And what we've seen so far from the Spurs games this year, I've seen that the most. Chris was good. Portland, I'm pretty sure turns the ball over most. Let's take a look real quick. I'll go back to the stats here. Turnover percentage. So OKC leads the league in that. I'll go to the bottom for Portland. Yeah, Portland is 30th. So Portland is 30th in the NBA in turnover percentage. The top 10, OKC, Boston, Denver, the Cavs, Pacers, the Heat, the Knicks, the Kings. Where are the Spurs? They're 12th. So yeah, that's kind of evident so far in the games that we've seen between the Spurs and OKC. Because again, this is not a one-off situation. I want to go back to the other game they played because they played multiple times. Spurs have taken 2 losses on their record. So let's see real quick the first matchup, how that margin went. Van Lee said Splitter could never coach them to a series win over OKC either. I watch a lot of their games. He makes a lot of mistakes. That turnover percentage is all Denny and Shaden, but check Portland paid touches. I bet they top 5. We'll look at that next for sure, for sure. Let me see what this box score is real quick just to make sure that I'm not bugging. So in this game, yeah, so in this game they had 19 turnovers, but they forced OKC to commit 15 of their turnovers. About even on, I would say, the rebounding battle. In terms of the percentage, both teams didn't shoot well from 3, but the Spurs did shoot better from 3 and ultimately made more threes. This was a close game, by the way. But the point I'm trying to illustrate here is that's the key, right? And then again, you have to be a team that can get out in transition and score easily, and they have been able to do that through 2 meetings thus far. The game on Christmas is going to be a very fun game to watch. I will be live probably for that. Let me double check the times of the games real quick while we're here. So I'll be live in Gold Blooded for this game at 5 o'clock, but I will be streaming the Spurs OKC game early as well on the channel. So tap in for Christmas and whatnot. You said check paint touches. What stat actually will encapsulate paint touches? I'm curious. Scoring, let me see. Percent of 3-point field goals made that is assisted. I'm looking for paint touches here. Okay, percent of points. I think this is 2-point percentage. I don't think that's it either. Aha. Okay, percent of points in the paint. Let's see what this is. So the Pelicans are number 1 at their percentage of points in the paint. Then you have the Pistons, you have the Magic, you have the Bulls, you have the Mavericks, you have the Heat, you have the Raptors, you have the Rockets. Yeah, Chris, I also think that's a huge point too. Even with the minute things I'm speaking to offensively, this isn't even a conversation if you're not a good enough defense. The Spurs have flat out looked like a better defense in the 2 games they played OKC, and that's another big thing, right? Like, if your defense is looking better than OKC in the games you play, you only have to be so good offensively if you're a better defense than the best defense in the NBA. That matters, right? I don't see Portland here for paint points. They're 13th. Okay, yeah. So right here, OKC is 12, and the Spurs are 14. That's funny. So Spurs are at 14, Portland's at 13, OKC is at 13. Yeah. So listen, my bigger point though is this team is not a team that is unbeatable. And they have been dominant. I think they are very much an all-time team. I think it's a very small list of how many can actually destroy them. I think it's a very limited team that can do that. But I definitely think the Spurs are a team that I would have to give some credence to in terms of a matchup. Their defense is legitimate. And I think because they're really able to get out and score quickly in transition, they give themselves a great chance to beat OKC. I'm still waiting on some Denver film versus OKC this season. We have not seen them play yet. However, we do know they forced it to go 7 games. Although, in my opinion, a lot of the series, I felt like OKC just wasn't really understanding how to beat a zone properly. I felt like they should have beat them quicker than what it was, even though it did wind up going 7 games. But I still think out of respect, you got to put Denver in that slot. And then after that, it's really who else in the Western Conference can do it? You probably would take the Rockets next, I think mainly because of their defense, but the point guard issues will become a problem in a playoff, I think, environment. Not to mention Amin Thompson being a complete non-shooter is going to hurt so much in the playoffs more than it will, I believe, in the regular season. So those are things. Paint points equal paint touches. Well, this is your overall percentage of points in the paint. This is why I think that the Warriors defense is fake. By the way, because you're never going to convince me the Warriors have a better defense than the Spurs, but the Warriors have a better defensive rating. See, this is my thing, right? I've always said this, Chris, and again, I know KB disagrees. I don't really care. I don't think the defense is as good as what it's saying, but I do think we have a top 10 defense. I do think against competition, we've shown that our defense can play at a super high level. Our consistency is a little, you know what I'm saying, right? But I still think we do have a top 10 defense. But I can't seem to find the paint touches stat. Team leader, hang on, team leaders. I can't spell. Team leaders in paint touches NBA. Let me see. Nah, I'm off the Rockets. OKC will eat. Yeah, that's the problem. They also have some guys that like they will need offensively that are, I would say, food. Players paint touch. I'm looking for this. Teams paint touch. Okay, boom. Okay, so right now, the Houston Rockets are number one. Then after that, it's the Pistons, Memphis, the Cavs, Denver, Toronto. Golden State has more paint touches than Portland. Really? That surprises me. So these are the average amount of times you touch the paint per game. How about total overall touches per game? Let me see what that is. We're number one in that? What? Hang on. So Golden State has the most touches in the paint this season? That doesn't even feel real. I can't believe that, right? Wait, so it's Golden State, Chicago, the Sixers, the Pacers. I think that stat is just who touches the ball the most. I mean, but this is literally, I'm confused though, because this is literally paint touches. This would be how many minutes you have done it in. I'm assuming this is like, oh no, you're right. I'm tripping actually, because this is only one part of it. So you're right about that. My fault. Yeah. So, I mean, still, Golden State is still top 10, which I think surprises me. But yeah, Portland is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're eighth. Yeah. I think it does make sense because technically speaking, like we do get to the paint, but in terms of like conversion rate on those touches, I'm pretty sure that's very, very small. I think that's an issue. But yeah, my bigger point is this, man. And by the way, it was good, Tank. Yes, in my opinion, I think after 2 games, and again, we only have a 2-game sample size. We've seen multiple teams win games against a team in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, they're terrible and they cannot beat that same team. I think the Spurs thing is legitimate. I do. I think that they have the size that will matter. I think they have a good enough defense to where they can outplay OKC's defense, at least in the games they play against them in the series. I still think the consistency of some of these younger players you're going to question and need to see more from in an actual postseason setting. But I still think OKC is the better team, in my opinion, right? My bigger point, though, is the disrespect that's been lobbed OKC's way is kind of funny because you know a team is an all-time team. You know a team is a great team. You know a team is a team that is meant to be reckoned with when we're acting like one regular season loss defines them. People are acting like OKC's a bum squad, and they're not. They're like really, really good. Van Lee said Denny Avia and Shaden are half-court surgeons. I don't know about surgeon. I do not know about surgeon. I believe they can get by their guys. I think Denny has been a surgeon in terms of the free throw rate. I can agree with that, but I don't know about surgeon consistently versus good defenses. I don't know if I'm saying that. Denny gets anything he wants in the half court and in late game. Well, whatever. This is not about Portland. I don't care. Anyway, I think OKC, the only teams that can like really like threaten them, in my opinion, would be, I would say, Denver. I would say the Spurs. I'm taking the Rockets off of that list because I haven't liked how they look for certain parts of the regular season. I think depending on Reed Shepherd to be one of your primary ball handlers against good defenses sounds like a bad idea. And then more importantly, I think he's been food defensively for the majority of the regular season. I think in a playoff type of situation, that would just continue to repeat itself. So I wouldn't really trust that as much. I think Portland's a young team, but I don't think that the coaching and like their like time playing super high level basketball has been consistent this season. So I really would leave it to those two teams, honestly. Oh yes, no. We're gonna get to the Mavericks. I'm gonna like save all of my thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks for that part of the stream. But in terms of the recap, I was very impressed with a lot of what we saw from the Spurs. I actually want to go back real quick to the box score from this game because I think the most interesting part for me, at least when it came down to the Spurs, is they've shown time and time again that this is not just about Victor Wembanyama. And I know a lot of people are going to glaze Wemby. Listen, hang on real quick. I'm going to go full screen one more time. Chat, I am a Wemby glazer. I'm confident. Like I am so fine with admitting I am a Wemby glazer. I am. But what the Spurs have shown us this season is that without Wemby on the floor, they're still a good team. They show me defensively they can still be a reliable enough defense. They still have ball handlers. They can still touch the paint. But the level that Wemby makes them rise to makes them a much better team. I'll give you a prime example. Look at his box score, right? Harrison Barnes, 20 points in a blowout. 6 of 9, 20 points on 9 shots. Now, I know relying on Harrison Barnes as a Warriors fan, people don't like Harrison Barnes. I get it. I understand that. That's fine. He's a role player. I still think he's a good enough vet to do things on his team. Cool. Luke Cornett. I love Luke Cornett's game. Reliable decision maker. Doesn't do too much. Good veteran presence. Size. All you need. Literally all you need. A brain on the floor who can block shots. Cool. De'Aaron Fox. Let's talk about De'Aaron Fox. He had 6 points in this game. On 9 shots, he went 0 for 4 from 3, 0 for 4 from the free throw line, which is really bad. I'm sorry. If your point guard is shooting 0 for 4 from the free throw line, that's not good. But he did have 9 assists. He also had no turnovers. He was a plus 18. Let's have this conversation real quick. Okay? Yes, Chris, his block record did get snapped in this game, which is crazy because the impact and the influence was there, but he could not actually get a block shot. But that goes to show just how much of a beast he is. But anyway, Fox. My takes on Fox have always been, I think he's one of those players that is either overrated or underrated. And I know that might sound very, very simple, but whoever I talk to, they either tell me he's a really bad point guard, they don't like him, or he's a top 5 point guard. Like there's never like an in-between range for him, and I really feel like he's in between that range. I think he's played some pretty good basketball for the Spurs without Wemby being there. However, to be honest, his floors have been kind of low when playing with Wemby on the floor against good teams this season. I got to be honest about that. But my point about him is despite what he shot in the game, again, no turnovers and the quickness, right? The blurring speed of him to touch the paint, he still has that, okay? In the game versus OKC, I saw him relentlessly frying OKC defenders. I saw him getting by Case and Wallace. I saw him using decel moves to get to where he needed to get to. And more importantly, he didn't turn the ball over. If you're gonna beat Oklahoma City, the number one thing you have to have as a unit, especially with your ball handlers, is understanding time, understanding where your teammates are, and understanding how to not turn the ball over. Fox didn't do it last night. That was huge. I think just having him there takes so much pressure off of Castle. And more importantly, it takes pressure off of Dylan Harper, who is a rookie. Obviously, we don't know how a rookie player is going to perform in the playoffs. We got to see that, right? But what I do know is if you trade Fox and you don't really replace it with a good enough ball handler, you would be exposing Dylan Harper and Castle more and more to that life in the postseason. I think having Fox there as a, I would say, veteran player to like buy them some time is a good thing for them. I don't think that's a bad thing. Can the Thunder not go through adversity even once? This team has some flaws. Every team has that. Yeah, like that stuff happened a bunch last night. But I say all this to say that's why the Spurs to me have such a bright future. I mean, I think the guy that we haven't gotten to yet, Stephen Castle, right? 24 points in 28 minutes played, 7 of 12 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. The biggest knock on Castle coming into this season was his 3-point shooting. And yet, game by game by game, he's been able to shoot a lot. He's touched the paint. His passing is high level. He can throw skip passes. And more importantly, the defense is good. He can really, really, really defend. One thing that we're not talking about enough, especially when you're playing a team like OKC, is your lead ball handler, or if one of your guards who has to bring the ball up, are they a liability on the other end? The thing that helps the Spurs is they don't have many like defensive nothings on their roster. And more importantly, they have Wemby at the back to help them if they get blown by. That to me enables people like Fox, people like Castle, people like even Devin Vassell to be more aggressive defensively, which makes their overall defense better. Like, I think all of these things matter. But the guy that we haven't gotten to yet, and I'm happy that Chris said it, his name in chat, Keldon Johnson, bro. Hey, bro. Real shit. Salute, bro. Like, salute to Keldon Johnson. I didn't know what to expect from him. I thought that he could be a solid player in the NBA, especially after he got, I believe, drafted to the Team USA, I believe, during the last Olympics. I forget which run that was he was in, but I thought, okay, it's some promise there. But his steps as a player in terms of how he's improved, his 3-point shot coming back, especially with his rebounding, like, he's just been a good player for the Spurs the entire season. And that's the thing. When you have multiple guys who are 6'8", 6'7", 6'9" with length, and they can shoot a little bit, it changes how the floor looks for everyone consistently, right? The Spurs don't have many players who are just zero offensive players. And if you're going up against OKC, you need to have as many non-liabilities on the floor. And to me, that's why they've given them 2 of their 4 losses on the season, which, by the way, is impressive. You're telling me a team has played 30 games, chat. An NBA team has played 30 games. They've only lost 4 times, and the Spurs have 2 of their 4 losses. I know people are going to say, well, gifted, it's just regular season, but people said the same shit about OKC last year. Oh, it's just regular season. I don't think that like Shea still got those calls in the postseason. Some of these things are going to translate from the regular season into the playoffs. Defense translates, right? Turnover rate translates, right? A team not having good enough 3-point shooting, that'll translate. These are all things that translate. And I just think that a lot of what the Spurs do are things that can be more enough repeatable in a postseason setting. You got to see it, of course, but hey. Tank says 6'7". Oh, brother, brain right here. Cooper Flagg on a great path. We're going to get to that. But I'm going to leave this topic of the NBA recap, which, this is a new live show I will be doing at least 2 times a week where we will be talking about the NBA. I will be recapping things. If you guys have also noticed some things, let me know on the YouTube side what you guys want to be covered. I will be updating this more and more and more. But I like what I saw. I like what I saw from the Spurs. They are a team that's bigger than their best players. Shout out to them. They are the 2nd seed in the Western Conference, and they have been fun to watch. I cannot wait for their Christmas Day matchup. I will be streaming that game on here as well. So tap in and join the Discord if you want to watch the game with me. But with all that out the way, let's move on to the next topic. Draymond Green. Okay. Draymond Green, bro. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I actually hate Warriors fans. Like, I fucking hate Warriors fans. And to be honest, like, I can zoom out from that and just say the general public of NBA fans I probably don't like that much. But specifically Warrior fans, I don't like a ton of them. And a lot of the reasoning behind this, for me at least, is because a lot of them make me look bad. A lot of Warriors fans make me look bad because a lot of them are not Warriors fans. A lot of them are Curry Glazers. Okay? Salute to all my Curry Glazers. I think Glazers of a player and a team are needed, right? Stands are necessary. But some of y'all glaze so bad, it blinds your basketball takes, right? So, like, the people saying things about Draymond, let's talk about that, right? For years and years and years, this is actually too before KD was even on the fucking team. People would criticize Draymond. Now, Draymond is such a perfect player to discuss because I firmly believe that he is one of the easiest, like, he is the perfect diamond tester to your basketball knowledge. And I say that because a casual who only watches one team, right? I've even seen some Warriors fans expose themselves. Some people generally think Klay Thompson was a better player than Draymond. And why is that? Because he's the second scoring option. Because Steph averages 30, Klay Thompson averages 20 points. Okay, Klay gotta be the second best player on the team. Some people cannot, like, get behind scoring and just understand, oh shit, basketball is about more than scoring. Some people only gauge impact by who is putting up points. That's how a lot of people view this basketball shit. And then even when you take a deeper dive into it, it's still easy to be blinded by where the ball is. Offensive players, who has the ball in their hands. Draymond Green historically has been an underrated player in a general sense because he does a lot of the small things that defines winning basketball. And especially on the defensive end, Draymond's easily probably the best defender of his generation coming up. Consistently. On a night in, night out basis, especially in his prime. He has multiple playoff series we can break down and dissect in terms of how good he is on defense. And the other part that I can't stand to is Draymond in his prime wasn't a bad offensive player. Like, I need people to understand, you're seeing end of career Draymond, and his offense is so fucking bad, it's actually toxic. It smells. It reeks. It's a stench that follows you. It's such a bad thing on offense now at this point. And we're reaching a point with Draymond where it's like, bro, you can't do anything consistently offensively. Teams don't give a fuck about Draymond shooting the ball. They haven't cared for years. But specifically now, when it's a slow windup, he's not making the shots. But he has to shoot them to try to keep the defense honest. But there's a lot of things wrong offensively with Draymond. But how it's been nullified year in, year out in year 2, and year 3 is, guess what? If you don't want to guard Draymond, he's going to stand at the top of the key. Steph is going to give up the ball. He's going to curl up behind Draymond. And whoever's not guarding Draymond, if you're not quick enough to stop the screen that Draymond's going to set for Steph Curry, guess where Steph's going to be? Wide open because you are gapping Draymond, guard him like he's Ben Simmons. That is how Draymond has been able to evade and escape being such an offensive negative for a long time now. On top of passing, right? On top of, like, being able to throw lob passes, on top of being a connective passer, he's been able to, like, slightly nullify that. But we're now reaching a point in the NBA where there's so many players who can do shit on both ends, who are fast enough, who are more athletic, that guess what? They're getting over these screens, right? They're catching up. And more importantly, And I think this is the most underrated part when it comes down to discussing Draymond in 2025 is the roster around him is ass. I'm going to say that again. The roster around Draymond, yeah, this Warriors team is not a great roster. You have a lot of guys that do not have to be respected offensively, including Draymond. There at least used to be a time where, okay, it might get a little bit nasty, but you know what? You have Klay Thompson. You can't leave Klay. Oh, cool. Klay's not here anymore. So now that turns into Buddy Hield. I might guard him, okay. He can shoot, but right? That turns into QP, who is a cool big man shooter. He can knock down shots, but is he like a steamingly hot, efficient player? No, he's not. So then that leads to a situation where you just have multiple other players on the floor that don't have to be respected, and then Draymond takes you away from everything because he's the worst. He's going to always be like the worst non-factor offensive player unless we're talking about bottom of the barrel players who are barely playing heavy minutes on his basketball team. Like, I don't know, GP2 maybe, right? Like, I'm not talking about that though. So anyway, with all that being said, Draymond crashes out. If you missed it, I think I might actually have the clip. I don't know if I want to play it because I might get copyright for that. You know what? To be safe, I won't play it. But anyway, Draymond was mad at calls. He was upset about the way that things were being called in the game. And he got mad about it. He kept trying to talk about the ref. Kerr tried to get him to lock in and focus. That led to other disappointments. Not surprising. If you follow this team, like Chris is saying, sky is blue. Makes sense. And that led to Draymond removing himself. Right? The reason why I said Draymond quits in this title is because that's what he basically did. He got mad. He got upset. And he said, before I do some more stupid shit, I'm going to remove myself from this equation. So essentially, I'm going to quit on this game because I'm so mad I might make things worse for my team. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think enough Warriors fans are like reacting to what that really means strong enough. In my opinion, if you have to quit on the NBA game when your team's already not that good, bro, I'm sorry. Like, we're literally mid. I'm pretty sure we're like exactly 500. We've won the same amount of games that we've lost. And it took winning that game to go back to 500. A team that's like been that mediocre, you're risking time away from. It's sad. And what that tells me is like he still has a composure issue. And you can tell that, right? Sky is blue if you've seen Draymond in the field. Like, he don't really be doing shit. Cause like in his head, he has to always play in the middle of what's clean and what's dirty all the time. And sometimes he be full on dirty. I'll be honest with you. And that's cost his team multiple things. People try to blame all of KD on him. I don't believe that shit. KD to me wanted to go independent of that, but it did not help him doing that, right? Him getting suspended and costing the team a title when they won the most games ever. That's a problem too, but there's other things. The point is, in the past, you couldn't really say too much because it's like, all right, bro, it's Draymond. He's a big part of the team. They win the games. But if we're being honest, the way Draymond's played in December, where I looked this up, the numbers have been better without Draymond in December specifically. Okay? Like, they just have been better. He has more turnovers and more fouls than field goals made. Like, at a certain point, the Draymond 7-point, 8-point shit that we've grown to just expect, it can't go anymore in this type of NBA where you need multiple players at multiple positions to be threats. So, like, this moment with Kerr, to me, is exposing those issues, exposing those problems, exposing those flaws. And then it's understandable, but you can't really take it the same way. You get what I'm saying? So, like, for me, it's a problem, and it makes this team look not great. And again, we're only 500, so we haven't been playing great ball. But specifically, if we know that we're not a good team right now, most of our saving grace is having Steph Curry, and you're turning the ball over in response to all this shit, is bad. Like, it's not going to do you no justice if you're consistently looking like that. So for Draymond to basically say, man, fuck this, I'm out, that's some child shit. Like, that's some childish ass shit when you need all the wins you can get in the Western Conference before we hope on the Warriors making some type of trade to make this team better. So I don't know what's going to happen. We watch this team pretty much every game they play. We will be actively trying to monitor how that looks. But they look better without Draymond. If we're being honest, when Draymond left the game, that's when the Warriors turned up. They dominated the Magic after Draymond. And again, I'm not going to be one of those mouth breathers who are on Twitter saying, oh my God, trade Draymond, we're better. Because I still think regardless of what this team build is, the best version of it is when Draymond's at his best. It just straight up is. And I think when you're playing against these other teams and we're already I would say, fake defense, quote unquote, when Draymond's not on the team, we're going to get worse. We're going to get worse. And I don't think that our offense completely gets better without Draymond either. It might improve a little bit, but like you need some of those intangibles where Draymond just knows how to find Curry, knows exactly where to screen. These things matter. So they're in a very tough spot where it's like you can't get off Draymond for great value, but you still need him. So I don't know. But that's really all I'm going to say about Draymond. I think that's a more open and shut case. We'll see exactly how those things translate. Hang on, give me 1 second. Be on at 9:40, wrapping up my last segment. Okay. I would only be up to trade Draymond if it were for Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis is still an elite defensive player, but that's it. Yeah. So like, it might sound crazy, but I don't even know if I would want to entertain Anthony Davis, mainly because of the health. But that's it. If you told me AD will play like 58 games, 60 games, I would go for it. But I don't know how volatile his overall situation is. Also, my bigger issue is the fact that AD doesn't want to play the 5. If you're telling me you want to put AD at the 4 and you put QP at the 5, maybe, but that shit don't really sound the best to me. Like, the problem with Anthony Davis on this team is him not knowing if he wants to be a power forward or a 5. In my opinion, he's better at the 5. I think that you can make him look really good at the 5. We've seen it before in the past, but that also compromises his health. And I think for a team that has Steph Curry and Butler, if I'm trading Draymond, I need to get a guy that just makes sense, or his talent is so overwhelming, you just say fuck it. Right? And that player's probably Giannis. But if we're being honest, which just sounds crazy, right? I think the Steph Giannis shit sounds really, really good. I do. But it's like, oof. I have a couple of reservations, especially because Giannis is also starting to pick up a lot of knick-knack injuries. But to be fair to Giannis, he's the top 4 player in basketball, bar none. So you still pull that trigger. But yeah, that is enough Warriors for this stream. I have to watch this team tomorrow, so I want to save the rest of my thoughts about that. Let's get to the final segment of NBA Live Recap today, and that is Cooper Flagg. Now, gentlemen, I want to show you something real quick. I put this tweet out actually today. Let me show you something real quick. This is what Cooper Flagg is doing as a rookie right now, chat. And this is not me like actually focusing in on what he's done for the month. This is his full season. If I just do what he's done in the month of December, I will be able to get a lot of agendas off. But I'm not going to do that. Here's my screen, chat. I'm not going to say nothing for a minute. I'm going to drink my water. Y'all can just look at these stats. On the right, you have Cooper Flagg, rookie player on a team that has missed AD for a good chunk of their season. They don't have Kyrie Irving available. They ran him at the point guard at the beginning. A lot of these stats are without a real point guard on the floor because they acquired Ryan Nembhard later and D'Lo was ass. And despite all that, he's averaging 19 a game, 6 rebounds a game, 3 assists a game, almost 4, with a steal, almost a block a game, 48% from the field, 26% from 3. But the funny part about his 26 is I still feel confident in his ability to shoot. Ironically, even though he might not have a high enough percentage. Free throw percentage, 80%, solid. Higher effective field goal percentage. Now the BPM, the VOR, I'm not going to do all that nerd. Like I could do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Right? Now, I'm going to say this. Obviously, this is a stat head. So this is a partial trope because obviously, like, doing box score comps, like, obviously aren't the best. We know that teams are guarding all these players differently, all this and all that. But my bigger point is for Cooper Flagg to be a rookie player and for me to be able to put his box score next to Paolo's and say, wow, he actually comes out as better in some of those areas is a problem. And more importantly, if we just talk about Cooper Flagg in general and what he's done in the month of December, he's been playing at that level. And keep in mind, Cooper Flagg is a significantly, to your point, Chris, a significantly better defensive player. Like it is a night and day difference between what Cooper Flagg does defensively than Paolo Banchero. And what we've seen Cooper Flagg do, which I want to get into the actual month. So I'm going to go back here to I believe, NBA.com real quick, just to show you the growth in Cooper's game. Let me look at player index, and then we're going to track his overall development because he started out kind of shaky. I remember at the beginning of the year, it started out as a VJ. Then for a long time, it was Khan. And now Cooper, to me, has taken the lead for who is going to be the rookie of the year. But let's just go month by month with his overall improvements. Let me see. Do they have the month splits? It might be within profile. Actually, hang on. I'm probably doing this wrong. I haven't used this site in a long time, so give me some grace here. A regular season playoffs playing. Here we go right here. Splits. Yeah. All right. So in the month of December in 10 games, and I'll zoom in just to make sure this is as apparent as possible. Let me scroll down here. So in the month of December, Cooper Flagg in 10 games being played, he's averaging 24 points on 35 minutes, 52.7% from the field on 17 shots, basically. 30% from 3, which still isn't great, but I'm telling you, he's hit some threes where it's like you trust him enough where he can competently shoot the 3, even if he doesn't have a great percentage. 80% from the free throw line. I want the true shooting, so I'm gonna go to the advanced stats. Let me see this real quick. Trill, what's good? I will get to that question in a minute for sure, bro. I just want to see this. So his true shooting. So he went from a 50% true shooting in the month of October to a 51% true shooting in the month of November to a 60.6% true shooting in the month of December. I don't think people understand how drastic of a jump this is from month to month to month. So 5-game sample size, not a big sample, right? November, much bigger sample. And then we have December, which is still a good enough sample. Look at the net rating. He goes from a minus 14.3 to a minus 9.6 to a positive 3.7. Ironically, they're winning a lot more games in the month of December because he's playing his best basketball. So I say all this to say, if I know that Cooper Flagg's numbers are looking like this, and Kyrie Irving hasn't played yet, and he's done a lot of this without Anthony Davis, and he's been put in spots where he actually has the ball. He has to be the decision maker. Against the Pistons, when they won that game, down the stretch, he had the ball in his hands making decisions. He can pass. And more importantly, this is my point, Chris, he's 19. He did the majority of this shit when he did the majority of this shit when he was 18. At 18 years old, he was doing this shit. At 19, he's becoming an even better player. So when I have all that context and then I think about how Paolo plays, Coop is outplaying Paolo right now. And I know it's Paolo's been in the playoffs gifted. He shot all these shots in the playoffs gifted. It's this and that. What I'll say is this, and I said this in my tweet, and I will stand on this. Cooper Flagg is everything y'all want Paolo to be. When it comes down to playing like LeBron James, playmaking, playing defense, getting downhill, Cooper Flagg's been more effective than Paolo in all those areas. Factually. And the best part about Coop that I like the most, Chris, is the shot diet. What he's doing a much better job of is he's getting to that rim. He's making 80% of his free throws. He's getting downhill, consistently getting blow-bys. He's not working all the way out the post, all the way so much. Hold on now, Paolo. But see, this is my thing. Most people, when they bring up Paolo Banchero, they bring up the LeBron comparisons. Yeah, Cooper Flagg is actually playing like his size. My problem with Paolo sometimes is his shot diet. He still has moments where he's just settling for these fall-away mid-ranges. He's not playing enough bully ball. Right? And then even when he does, he's not consistently getting to the rim at the same burst. He's not effective at the paint at the same rate. For Coop to be all of these things and for him to be an athletic finisher where he's got some plays where he's getting downhill and jamming on people, it speaks to just how good he's going to be. So regardless of if you think he really is better than Paolo or not, the fact that Cooper is even in that conversation as a rookie player is insane. Paolo Banchero plays like Melo. That's been his issue. He doesn't realize 6'10". Exactly, Trill. Thank you. Exactly. He doesn't realize he's 6'10". Well, that's the difference. Cooper Flagg understands he's 6'9". He understands, hey, I have size. He understands, hey, I can put the ball on the floor and get to the paint. And he does it more consistently on a night in, night out basis on a team that, quite frankly, has not been a complete team for the majority of the season. And now they're winning games. If I go back to the ESPN scoreboard here for the standings, this is how the Mavericks have been performing. Where's Dallas at? Hang on. They are 12-19. They've been winning a lot more games. Now, this is considering the fact that they've been in a hole because they had so many losses at the beginning of the season. But look at this. Like, most of their wins are coming now. A lot of these shits were just losses, and a lot of them at one time. Like, they're actually chaining together a good amount of wins right now, which is impressive considering all the injuries and inconsistent roster play that they've had the whole season. But I say all this to say, the way Cooper Flagg is trending and actually progressing, he's not just an all-star, but he's nearing a level where he might be able to get to all NBA conversations if the Mavericks continually win more games. More importantly, if Kyrie comes back and they have a strong enough record. Like, he's improving at that type of level. Now, I know that sounds like, whoa. I want y'all to think about this. I'm not saying he is all NBA right now. If I had to choose names of my ballot right now, right, and say who's all NBA, Cooper Flagg would not make my list right now. But listen to what I'm saying. All NBA trajectory. What does that mean? You're on the path to becoming that. Chris said, you think Coop? Well, no. So just because you're all NBA doesn't mean you're automatically a top 15 player, in my opinion. And I say that because Giannis is going to make it. I don't think Wemby's going to make it. You're going to get a lot of guys that wind up not making it because of games played, but they actually are top 15 caliber players. I'm thinking because of that and the fact that he's played pretty much every game and he's going to keep playing at this level, if not better. If I had to like project that out, he might be in the conversation for it, right? But I'm saying that he might be able to be in that ballpark. And here's why I say this, Chris. Again, I understand limited sample, right? All I know is in the game I watched yesterday, when it was Cooper Flagg on the floor with Nikola Jokic, MVP, Jamal Murray, all-star this season, he was comfortably the best player on the floor. I mean that. And like, I don't just have to bring up box score, all this other nerd shit. Let me show you the stats real quick. Like eye test wise, it felt like that. But if we actually look at the stats, he played 40 minutes in this game, 33 points, 14 of 21 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 turnovers, a steal and a block on a +10. In my opinion, when he's the one who's like making decisions in the offense, making the right choice and playing good defense, he was outplaying Jokic and Jamal in that same game. Now, listen, Chris, I get it. I'm not saying that he will 100% hit it. I'm saying all NBA is going to be on the cards for him next year. I'm almost firm in saying that. You have to win games, obviously, I know that. But just the way that he's playing basketball, from what I'm watching, you see the flashes of an all-NBA player. I do. And I know that sounds insane to like think about or fathom, but the shit that Cooper Flagg is doing, he looks like a third-year player. And I'm sorry, but I'm not saying he was Wemby, but the same flashes that I saw in rookie Wemby at times, I'm getting that from Coop in different ways, in different doses. Not the defense, because obviously Wemby is a better defensive player, but he's way more polished offensively than Wemby was when he came in. Like, the game looks like it's slowing down at a crazy-ass rate. And I'm sorry, for you to have a 60% true shooting as a rookie player in a 10-game sample, for you to become a positive net rating player in that same stretch, and again, for you to play against MVP talent, where he's had multiple matchups now against the best of the best in the NBA and has outplayed them, that's not regular rookie shit. So because of that, I'm putting him in a different area than most people will. But I'll stand on it. I think by the end of the year, he will be a top 20 player. I think I'm there. Now I know that that's a heavy statement, and like most people are not going to want to say that. Here's what I'll say. Not overall. I won't say overall. I will say in terms of the season. Like, I can't wait to see what he looks like in March, January. Like, I want to see how that Cooper Flagg looks like. I want to see what Cooper Flagg looks like when he has Anthony Davis and Kyrie on the floor. That type of player could really be crazy. Do you think he? Yes. Yes, I'll say that. Yes. Yeah. But my problem is the way that we assess players, Chris. I give credence to how you play in a 3-year sample. So I never want to say a player in 1 year is better than a multi-time All-Star, multi-time All-NBA. That's hard for me to say. But in terms of a single season setting, yes, Cooper Flagg could be better than Pascal this year. I would say that. In terms of like overall standing in the NBA, to me, you need more time. You need more body of work for me to be able to comfortably say that. Coop is benefiting a lot. But see, Trill, like, I would agree with you if I didn't have a big enough sample of him playing well without Anthony Davis. Right? And like, here's my other thing, right? If we compare Flagg to other players, I think that the creation he's had to do without a real point guard is helping him grow as a player too. Like, and I'm sorry, I just think if you put better talent around Coop, he's gonna still look good. And he's shown me that he can still do that even with Anthony Davis. Prime example, Anthony Davis was on the floor last night. We watched that game. Coop was better than Anthony Davis. Respectfully, AD was great, but Coop was better than Anthony Davis in that game. So if I'm saying that you can outplay Jokic, Anthony Davis, and Jamal Murray in one game, I know it's a one-game sample, but what we're saying is he has the potential to be at a star or MVP caliber level. Now sustain that for like multiple months of the season is going to be hard, but it could be possible based on his build and how he's played. But that is all the time that we have today for the stream. Again, I'm going to be scheduling these. The goal is to do at least 2 of these a month. I want to focus on putting more videos about basketball and shit on the channel. But I'm going to now enjoy my weekend. I'm going to be hopping on, I believe, my rivals on Twitch. So if you want to continue our conversation over there, feel free. But this is going to be the end of the first NBA Live recap. I'm dating these too. So if you're watching the video, you can actually see like the date that we did the episode. I will be creating these broadcasts ahead of time. So check the upcoming streams tab on my channel if you want updates on that. Click the noti bell to make sure you get updated when we go live or when we upload videos. The content is going to be pouring back a lot more. I do this yap shit a lot, just in my head. I might as well like actually go live when I actually do the shit. I think that's a pretty good idea. So we're just going to be doing more and more of these. I also have some collaborative streams that I will be getting back to as well. Playback is dead, but if anything, I think playback dying was a good thing for me because it makes me have to lock in more on the process and be more of a creative than just being so lazy where it's just, oh, here's a game, I'll put it on playback and watch it. Like, I don't have to put in more effort to like creating thumbnails, right? And growing on YouTube. So I'm going to put a lot more focus and energy behind these things. I appreciate everyone that is rocking with me. Become a member today. Like the stream. All the likes help keep the channel going. I'm going to continue to pour a lot of my effort into these things. But I'm going to go enjoy my time on Twitch. So I will catch y'all. Have a good one. Salute. This has been the first episode of NBA Live Recap with Gifted. But yeah, peace out, people.